Marc, sad news. Lisa kicked me out today because of my bad impressions. I'm not worried though. I'll be back.
Oh, dude.
Joking aside though, I've heard Arnie is very direct in bed and can often be telling his lovers, "Get to the chopper."
No.
For God's sake.
Just play the intro music.
Well, no. One more.
Really? Yeah, let's hear it. One more. Yeah.
I've come up with an idea for a new TV show. It's where illegal immigrants hunt down sex offenders. I'm going to call it Alien versus Predator.
That one's good, and actually, I kind of like that idea.
Before I forget, you want to die tonight?
The cheaper, nastier, the better for me.
Would you have stayed after this?
Sorry, man, I was completely off guard there.
He's in his coffin. He's the undead.
This was the best bit of the film.
This is not the last time someone's going to steal your man.
Yeah, Marc's not a nice guy.
You didn't notice this scene. It looks like he's got an extra leg.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I've literally got nothing here. Surely that'd be even worse. The more listeners we have, the worse that's going to be.
Yeah, but I will just get a new phone.
Oh, I tell a lie, actually. Yeah, because we used to have teletext.
Art the Clown makes Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees look like pussies.
I can only assume that this was due to budgetary reasons and they couldn't afford enough extras.
Are you going to have Buster Rhymes in your list of characters?
Mate, I can't believe you don't know Idle Hands.
I'm going to ram my foot down his fucking throat. It was awesome.
It fucking wasn't awesome.
Hello, welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
My name is Marc.
And we are still just about the only horror movie review show run and controlled by the listeners. There's a couple of people copying us now, but we're still just about there. Today's episode is a very, very important milestone for the show, as it marks not only 2 years to the day that the You Run podcast began, it also marks 1 year to the day since Marc joined the show as a co-host.
Yay!
I can't believe it's a year, Marc. It's
mad, isn't it?
Crazy. You can get involved in the show in a number of ways. The main one is to give us a call and leave us a voicemail. You can either do that at yourunpodcast.com or you can do it on Instagram by sending me a voice note. And funnily enough, as it is a very special episode, we've got a voice note to play today. Marc, would you like to hear the voice note?
Is it a nice one? Because I feel like I'm getting bombarded with abuse at the moment.
Well deserved. It is. Here we go.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm so sorry to do this to Heather, but on the other hand, for the sake of the show, of course, you guys have to do Twilight. You have to do Twilight.
So we are now up to 8. We're up to 8 requests for Twilight. So we need 2 more. Either message me or call the show. And Heather's return episode to the You Run podcast will be Twilight, or a Twilight movie.
I would love it if Heather actually came in and voted for it herself. Heather, do the right thing.
That'd be good, yeah.
We have a packed episode today. As you would imagine, we're doing lots of things today because it's a special episode. We're going back to movies of the past. Now, they're not super old movies. These are movies that Marc missed because he wasn't part of the show. This episode will also feature a guest, if you've heard, laugh a couple of times and chime in a little bit, but I'm not going to get there yet. Before I do that, we're going to find out who Marc wants us all to go and follow for this big monumental episode. Marc, what account gets the 2-year anniversary recommended account of the week?
I feel like you've built it up to be something special now, and it's just a standard recommended account of the week.
No, it's not. It's a special one. This account
Sorry, no. This account is a monumental 2-year anniversary special recommended account of the week.
And it's MW Horror Reviews.
That would be awesome. Should I just do it myself? Should I just do the show?
No.
Should I just do the show for us? No, this week's recommended account is the Horror Movie Library. The Horror Movie Library is an outstanding account. I have encountered so many great films through this account. They basically showcase films throughout the horror genre, which have fantastic video cover artwork, and I don't really know how to describe the way that they present their account, because they do reels, they do reviews, they show clips and tidbits throughout sort of their posts regarding this film. So I mean, you've got stuff like Interview with the Vampire, you've got Blood Harvest, Suspiria, and one thing that I always find that I attract myself to the most is cover art when it comes to a film, which is weird because 9 times out of 10, if a film's got a really, really good cover art,
it's
usually shit. But it's something that I'm always drawn to. I really like the cover art of films, and especially on like physical media such as videos or Blu-rays or 4Ks that we're now in the era of living in. And this is an account that specializes in showcasing that kind of stuff. So if you're into horror, this account will probably satisfy your needs because they showcase that. But I don't know. I always go to them if I'm looking for a film that I want to review. So like, as you all know, I'm very OCD with my own review page, and I like things to be in order and look pretty and all have sort of significance. So then I'll go on this page and I'll look at what they're showcasing at the moment or what they've been showcasing recently, and I'll find a film and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Even though I know it's probably not going to be cool.
So
I'll go and watch it and I'll go and review it.
So what we're saying is this is the account that we can blame for you reviewing Zombies versus Carpet Fitters.
Oh, no, you can blame Amazon for that shit.
Go and give that account a follow. I'm going to in a minute. I'm not doing it now because I'm midway through the episode and I didn't start doing it. Normally, when you do recommended account, I start following them as soon as you mention the name.
Yeah.
But I was so like engaged in what you were saying and processing in my head that this is where lots of your reviews come from. I didn't get to do it, so I'm going to do it in a minute.
You won't find Cannibals and Carpet Fitters on their page, by the way.
I am going to scour it and see if I can. If I can, I'm going to share it to my story. As I said, we have a guest. The guest for this episode is the reason this episode happened first time round. So this is the message we received, and it's our first ever request to the show. And this was the message that got sent in.
Hi. It's Dave, and just wanted your thoughts on the Predator franchise, and be interested to hear a review, in particular of the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know he would say, do it now.
So that was the birth of something very special, because that was the birth of the show being run and controlled by the listeners. It was that message that changed everything. And for those of you who listen every week or have listened to a chunk of our episodes, you will know who that voice is. If you've never listened to the show before, you're in for a fucking treat today, as we are joined by the voice of the intro to the show, the Ghostface intro, the man who basically made the show what it is, because had that never happened, it would never have dawned on me to allow all of you to run this show. And I'll always be eternally grateful to this man. And it is our one and only, our very own Imitation Dave. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. That's a hell of an introduction. I want to apologize right now because it's all downhill from here, folks. At least with me involved, sorry I'm back. Yeah. But that was great to hear that. And I remember vividly going, like, I'll leave a message and let's see what happens, right? And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, it is. And the stupid thing is, you sent that message over 2 years ago and I still have it. That's crazy to think that was 2 years ago. That was what, like before the pandemic, I guess? Maybe? No. During the pandemic? I don't even know. I think it was literally at the start. So I started the show literally as the pandemic reached the UK before we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was around that time that you sent that message in. And I remember sitting there afterwards going, wouldn't it be good if I didn't have to choose the movies? How can I make that a thing? Yeah. And it genuinely, it all come from that one message from you that just made me go,
I never knew that.
No, you do.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
If anyone wants to blame anyone for the You Run podcast, it's entirely Dave's fault.
Yeah.
Dave's just sat there thinking, commission.
Yeah, ching, ching, ching. Yeah, that's it.
If we ever make it big and start making money, I will definitely remember you. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I have that recorded. Okay, yeah, I'll just file that off to the solicitor. Okay, good, excellent, yes.
Okay. This week's episode features a predator hunting people who are completely unaware that he's even there. And no, it's not Jimmy Savile working for the BBC.
Oh, sure. He deserves it, though, yeah.
This is an 80s classic that every household had on VHS when I was growing up. Starring Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Kevin Peter Hall, and Jesse the Body Ventura. It is the iconic action horror, and it is a horror. I will defend that, Mark. We'll get there. It's Predator from 1987.
We are a rescue team, not assassins. Now, what do we gotta do?
In a part of the world where there are no rules.
We pick up their trail at the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages before anybody knows we were there. What do you mean we?
Deep in the jungle, where nothing that lives is safe.
You lose it here, you're in a world of hurt. Showtime, kid. Knock, knock.
An elite rescue squad
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
is being led by the ultimate warrior.
We need the best. That's why you're here.
But now,
What's got Billy so spooked?
there's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man. They're up against the ultimate enemy.
Holy Mother of God.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before.
She says the jungle just came alive and took him.
We cannot see it.
No blood, no bodies. We hit nothing.
But it sees the heat of our bodies and the heat of our fear.
Whatever it is out there, it killed Hopper. And now it wants us.
It kills for pleasure.
He was skinned alive!
It hunts for sport.
He's killing us one at a time.
We're all gonna die. But this time, it's picked the wrong man to hunt.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
20th Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. The hunt begins Friday, June 12th at theaters everywhere.
The trailer's good. It's got that, the 80s guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the guy,
sorry, the commentator, what do you call it? Yeah, the
voiceover
guy.
The guy who done like every movie from 83 through to 95. He voiced over all of them.
Yeah, as soon as you hear it. Yeah, exactly. As soon as you hear it, it's like, I meant to look that guy up to see, what's his name and
how rich
a little more. Yeah, how rich. You never know in the 80s. Yeah, you probably signed a contract, in 79 for for peanuts, right? And,
started cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah, to do these voiceovers, I want a bag of cocaine and some weed to bring me down afterwards. Where do I sign?
Oh, man.
Let's get this show on the road. The listeners score the movies, and I also put a post on Twitter that I'm going to share the results of, because I'm trying to get Twitter more involved. So the listeners have scored this exactly the same as they scored Prey last week, and they've given this a solid and well-deserved 9 out of 10. As we are doing Prey and Predator back-to-back, and we've never done that, I reached out to the wonderful world of Twitter, who, if I'm honest, never interact with me. I get the odd like here or there, or the odd comment, but I put a picture of Predator and Prey next to each other and said, which movie is better? And it's the most successful tweet I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. We got a chunk of comments. So we got 19 comments, which for me on Twitter is phenomenal.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Everybody said Predator, apart from 2 people who said Prey. But everyone who said Predator also commented how good Prey is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
what Oh no, we'll save that till the end.
Yeah,
I was going to say, where do you guys stand on this? But we'll save that.
Let's not start roundups now. That's not how the show works.
No. Sorry.
Come on, Mark. It's been, you should know by now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you'd think I would have got the hang of this a year later.
Before we get going into the main episode, if you are on Twitter, give us a follow at You Run Podcast, because I haven't got a huge amount of followers like we have on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere else. And I kind of want to get Twitter more involved in the show, but when there's not many of you following me, it's quite difficult to do that because there's only a few who interact. So You Run Podcast on Twitter. Go and give us a follow. First thing I want to bring up is I forgot how long Predator was. It's an hour and 47 minutes.
It's long, dude. It's long for an action film.
It feels long sometimes, yeah.
I'm going to ban the phrase action film for the rest of this
is an action film. I live and die on this hill, man. This is an action film. It doesn't belong on the show.
It's longer than most movies of this type in the 80s, and it is also the most macho testosterone film that has ever been made.
Yeah, dude, there is just biceps everywhere.
These are, if you combined the three of us weight-wise together, we're not even like their leg. These guys are ginormous.
It's ridiculous, especially Carl Weathers as well. That dude is huge in this film.
Yeah, it's one of his better roles, I think, because outside of Rocky, that is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even compared to the Rocky films, he's trim. He is trim in the Rocky films. But
you're right.
He's like a bulkier version of Apollo Creed. It's insane how big he is.
I've got to ask the question: could Predator Carl Weathers have beaten Rocky?
No. Too big. He's not fast enough. Predator Carl Weathers can't even beat a Predator.
This is very true. We open with an alien spacecraft fired across the screen and firing a pod towards Earth. Now, these special effects in the 80s were top notch. Now, this looks like something that someone's created on like PowerPoint.
It doesn't get much better, does it, with the practical effects? Like, and as for somebody who always bashes on CGI and stuff like that as well, like I learned to love this for what it was. Like, I was like, I know this was groundbreaking when it came out. But then, like, I'm also at the same time laughing my ass off watching it now in 2023.
And to make us all feel old, this movie is now 36 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's older than I am. Sorry, guys.
Now
I don't want to. You ever see how if someone will say like, oh, when 1940 is closer to this? I don't want to know. Nope. Okay, it was me. Yeah, it's like nope.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. We fade cut to a chopper over the water, and we begin to meet our cast. The chopper lands, and we see literally the bulk of bulk of mankind emerge from the helicopter.
Before we go any further, can I just ask, are we going to continue with this being a chopper? Because I feel like you're only saying that it's a chopper because we're talking about the Predator. If this was any other film, this would be a helicopter.
Yeah,
this is a chopper. This is a chopper all the way.
Yeah.
Every time there's a helicopter, in my notes, it is a chopper.
That's all right. I'm just trying to find out where we're at with this.
The last character out is a character called Dutch, played by Arnie, complete with the biggest Cuban cigar you've ever seen. The behemoth-like men then jump into army jeeps and drive about 8 foot across a beach before getting back out again. I laughed so much.
Yeah.
You've just got to look at these films and think like they're done purely based on the impact that it has as cool and badassery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the logicness just goes out the window when you're watching a film like this.
Yeah, the logic in this was, I want to put them in an army jeep, but our set's not very big. Oh, fuck it. Stick them in an army jeep and drive them from there to there and then let them get out again. That was the logic behind it. The general, so they're met by the general. Dutch is met by the general outside, and he's told that 18 hours ago they lost a chopper carrying a cabinet minister and their aide. It's going to keep coming. The chopper's continuous. It shows Dutch where they were last located, and he believes they've been held in captive by guerrilla hands. I like the fact that Dutch questions him. He's like, why us? Why not send the regular army? And it's not the general who answers him. It's a character called Dylan, played by Carl Weathers. And we get what is now the iconic handshake.
Yeah. It's like the up and over screenshot where they look like they're about to arm wrestle.
Yeah, and they arm wrestle in the
Yes.
sky. Now at this point I had paused the movie because I was catching up on note taking. And the image on the screen was Arnie's arm and Carl Weathers' arm. These bulging steroid induced biceps. Lisa walked in the room at this point. And I decided we'd play a game of guess the arm. So she got Arnie straight away and instantly knew who it was. Any guesses as to who she thought Carl Weathers' arms belonged to?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It wasn't Carl Weathers.
It wasn't.
There's the hint.
Mr. T.
Okay.
That's a good shout. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of who else was jacked in the 80s. And
The thing is, I always assumed that this was a Rocky. Do you know when you see this still shot on Instagram and people like guess the film? I would have always said Rocky.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah, because I always think
I thought it was like the
Carl Weathers.
celebratory.
Yeah, they're running
Carl
on the
Weathers.
beach. Yeah, I remember that at the
yeah.
end. They're running on the beach. That's a great, I don't know what the hell that is, but it's great. The montage or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna say, you know what? I mean, Jesus, I can't think of anyone else other than Mr. T. Yeah,
Okay.
I would have probably said it. Yeah.
So we're both going Mr. T, and I would have accepted Mr. T as an answer. No, Lisa thought that was the arm of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Can anyone tell me why that might be wrong?
She's aware that Jean-Claude Van Damme's not black, right?
It took me a good 10 minutes to recover, and then I went, do you know who Jean-Claude Van Damme is? She's like, yes. I went, oh, that's a black arm. I was like, yes, it's a black arm.
God.
Robert Downey Jr. from
Oh no!
Tropic
Tropic of
Thunder.
Thunder.
Tropic
Yeah.
Thunder.
Oh my God! I'm the guy playing the guy. Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, that I unpaused it after this and kind of sent Lisa away.
that was a wise move to make.
Yeah, they have a bit of a mid-arm arm wrestle, and they catch up on like things they've done in the past, and their friendship is pretty authentic. We get a bit of backplot that Dutch has some morals, saying that he's turned down previous missions because they're a rescue team, they're not assassins. We also find out Dylan took the job to be an assassin, so he has absolutely no morals whatsoever. And it's the first hint we get that he might not be as straight down the line as he'd like us to believe.
No, he's not about team morale. He's about paychecks, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gun for hire, yeah.
They're given their orders, which is to take a team across the border and track down the hostages, getting them back across the border all in a single day. Now, Dutch has got reservations, and Dylan's like, well, I'm going to come with you. And he's like, no, I don't think you are. And he's like, look, these are your orders. I'm coming with you. And when we reach the hostages, I take command. And Dutch kind of goes, okay. And he accepts it in the end. Jump cut to two choppers taking the team into the jungle. And we get to...
Sorry, man.
Are you going to lose it every time I say chopper?
I think I might, yeah.
We're gonna need a chopper. We're gonna need a chopper count. Like, remember we used to have the swear count for?
I think we should.
Yeah, we need the chopper
jar.
count. Yeah, like it was like ding every time. Yeah.
Okay, this makes the episode harder to edit, but I will add a chopper count to this episode.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, I think we're gonna appreciate your effort. That's for sure.
Yeah. So they're in two choppers, and we meet the team to the sounds of Johnny Be Good. First, we meet Blaine, who is the tobacco chewing tough boy cowboy. Retired wrestler and governor of somewhere in America that I can't remember.
It was Michigan, I think.
Was it Michigan?
I'm not mistaken. I think it was Michigan, yeah.
There's two governors in this movie because obviously Jesse the Body Ventura was a governor and Arnie was a governor as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So predator to global domination. We meet Poncho, played by Richard Chavez, Hawkins, played by Shane Black, and this scary-looking Mac, played by Bill Duke. This whole little introduction, there's not a lot of talking and it's all smiling, and it would make a great sitcom intro this because they all kind of turn to the camera and smile, and they repeat
not as well as what the end credit scene does.
No, we will
We'll
get there.
I'm sure. Do you know what's interesting about this is I always thought this was directed by Shane Black, and I don't know why. I always thought he was so heavily involved, because he did the recent remake hybrid thing that came out, didn't he?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's Shane Black's return to the franchise, rah, 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 rah. And obviously it's just because he played a role in the first film, and I'm like, what makes him so qualified to then steer the franchise in this new direction? Obviously, he didn't do it very well.
No, and if you hear what they went through on set when we get to facts, I think everyone on this earned a shot at directing one after the shit they went through filming this.
Yeah, it just blows my mind. I always just assumed he was the director of this first one and just probably placed himself in as like a cameo, like Quentin Tarantino always does.
No, he was just a guy. Before we go any further, we also meet Billy. Now, Billy has earned a little bit of continuity through the franchise now. So they released Prey. Billy is Comanche, and what is now canon law is that Billy is the direct descendant of Naru.
Right. Run that through me again, but
so
slowly.
So you know the guy.
Break out the hand puppets.
Yeah, the guy Billy, who's the tracker.
Yeah, I know Billy in this film.
Yeah, so he's Comanche.
Yeah.
Comanche Nation, the same as Naru from Prey.
Yeah.
And what has now become canon is that he is the direct descendant of Naru.
All right, okay. So like he's like the great grandson of Naru in a sense.
Yeah.
All right, interesting.
Yeah. Billy is one of my favourite characters. And before we go on, Mark, who's your favourite?
Who does Bill Duke play? The guy who dry shaves.
That's Mac.
Yeah, Mac's my favourite.
Dave?
Billy's great, but it has to be Dutch. Like it's just constant one-liners like that. They're not even necessary, you know. Like
they're not necessary at all.
Yeah, they're not necessary. He's like, it's like there's like some kind of a timer where he's like, oh, I have to have a one-liner. It doesn't matter. He could be just, in the jungle.
It's like he's aware he lives in the fucking Truman Show. It's that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We also get a joke in this opening segment that is you run podcast opening worthy. I went up to my girlfriend the other day and said, hey, I'd like a little pussy. And she replied, so would I. Mine's as big as a house. And I just went, oh my God. There was lots of times in this I went, oh my God.
What was the Echo one he did?
Oh, we'll get to that. Funnily enough,
that was the best one. That was the one that I listened to and I was like, yeah, Scott wrote that.
Yeah, that's in my notes as well. He tells the joke to Billy, who just stares at him, which is his joke is not that funny, but Billy just staring at him and just say, "You're a dick." Makes it funny.
Do you know that? Do you know when you're looking outside of that now and you see that interaction?
Yeah,
that is me at the opening of every single episode we do.
Which is why it's funny. There's lots of back and forth, and we get a horrible F-word homophobic slur that I'm not going to repeat on the show. But it's followed by, he's talking about chewing tobacco, and he hits this horrible, you slacked your idiot, you slacked your horrible word I won't say. This stuff will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus just like me. Fun fact that I've never shared with anyone before. I have
sexual tyrannosaurus.
Where's this going?
I have in the past, when I was much younger.
Wait for it.
A girl was. I was trying to chat up a girl, and she made a comment about my sexual performance. And I had not long watched Predator before I'd gone out that night, and I hit her with the line, "You don't need to worry because I am a sexual tyrannosaurus."
No.
Wow.
You used that line. Okay.
I did. I was much younger and I would never use that line.
Well, hold on.
I don't feel like that is justifiable.
So what happened then? Like this is
I think we could all understand where this went after.
Yeah. I just need to know. Like, did it work?
There was lots of hysterical laughing, and funnily enough, I went home alone.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Okay. Well, it was only going to go one of two ways, right? Either amazing or
no,
terrible.
it was only going to go one way.
hey, I'm an optimist, you know. I have faith.
Now we've met the dysfunctional family. The song ends and they get dropped deep into the heart of the jungle. They're led by Poncho, he's effectively the scout. And he takes them to track down the chopper, which has clearly been shot down, and it lands in a tree. The set design's really good. I think that the helicopter in the tree, I said helicopter, looks really good. I like that. I think it looks great.
You don't need to draw attention to the word helicopter. Everybody knows that it's a helicopter.
It's a
when
chopper.
You say chopper, that's the weird thing that you're doing.
Using grappling hooks, Poncho and Dylan climb aboard the chopper. And the pilot of the co-pilot.
Fuck's sake, man.
Normal service has resumed.
The co-pilot and the pilot have both been shot in the head, and there are no sign of hostages. The trail has gone cold, and things are handed over to Billy, the super Comanche tracker. Billy is borderline fucking clairvoyant. He's not a tracker. he literally looks at the ground for 8 seconds and goes, there were 12 guerrillas who took the hostages this way. Shortly after, 6 U.S. Army issued boots followed them into the jungle.
Yeah, he's like Daryl Dixon after like 6 coffees.
Yeah, I have to. If anyone is a tracker or knows a tracker, is this level of detail actually a thing? Can this be done? Because I want to know.
I think so, because I feel like if you're army based and you're in the military, you would understand the boots that are army issue. So that I didn't once question the plausibility of this. I just assumed that it was like, oh well, your army issue boots, I recognize the footprint. This is US military, they went this way, sort of thing, based on the footprint alone.
Yeah, okay.
Would that be a logical thing to assume, or am I just clutching at straws?
No, I think you're right with that. Speaking of accuracy, we've been called out on our accuracy, Mark.
You're kidding. We're a very factual show, I'll have you know.
I think we are the most factual show, but we've been called out. And we've got another message, which I'm going to drop in now.
Scott, just letting you know, I'm listening to the episode, but it's Adrian King, not Adriana. And it's Steve Miner, not Steve Minner. But still love y'all listening. It's a lot of fun. Talk to you later. Bye.
Ooh.
So that's Heather correcting.
I feel like that was me. That was me with the Adriana thing.
Yeah, and I was Minor. Yeah.
We can share the blame.
Yeah, apologies, Heather.
I'm not apologising. I'm not apologising for my behaviour.
The thing
Should
is,
I apologise?
Heather's
quite angry at the minute.
Yeah,
I should apologise. I'm sorry, Heather.
Yeah, I think she's got a temper, and the swear. If
it was anyone, just know if it was anybody else, they would not be getting an apology. But Heather, I'm sorry. I love you.
Enough.
Please don't come at me.
Yeah, we both apologise, Heather. And to be fair, that kind of level of nitpicking is what I would expect from a huge Twilight fan.
I'm going to apologise too, just because I want to avoid the wrath.
No, you're associated just like the rest of me.
Yeah, that's exactly.
The tracking continues until Billy finds something that shocks them all, and it's 3 bodies skinned, hung by the ankles in a tree. They're wearing US Army dog tags, one of which says Jim Hopper. Now, I'm assuming this is the same Jim Hopper that we know and love from Stranger Things.
Or we can just assume the logical thing is that the writers of Stranger Things are big fans of The Predator and named the character Jim Hopper after this film.
You could do that, but mine is better. This is a sequel to Stranger Things.
Oh, man, you fucking internet fantasy.
Fan fiction,
yeah. Dutch tells Dylan that he knew these men, and Dylan goes, well, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know why they're here. Nothing to do with me. Billy, now having used his superpowers again, tells Dutch that they were firing in all directions, but he can't find anything to say that they were ambushed. There's no sign that they walked into something. They just randomly shot everywhere. It's at this point where Blaine gets out the biggest fucking rail Gatling gun machine gun you will ever see. And this could not be lifted by a normal man. And I went and Googled. This gun is a real gun. It's 95 pounds and is normally mounted on a tripod or a stand. The amount of bullets that he fires later would be an additional 60 pounds of weight just in bullets.
What's that in kilograms, just out of curiosity?
Oh, 155 into kilograms.
It's a lot. It's like it's like carrying a large child through the jungle.
Dave's doing the math. Dave, do the math. I need to know in kilograms because my brain doesn't work in pounds.
See, yeah, being so close to the States, I'm a bit of a pound guy. 70, just over 70 kilograms. If you're doing 95 pounds plus the 50, did we say 50 pounds?
Yeah.
The 50, yeah, 60 pounds, sorry, of ammo. Yeah. So you're looking at 155 pounds. It's 70.3 kilos.
That's heavy, dude.
That is heavy. Just carrying that around?
He's a big guy, but if we're taking into account that he's also carrying all of his gear in his pack as well, he's carrying Marc through the jungle.
Yeah, like just to put that into like I work in construction, so like a bag of plaster is 25 kilograms, so that's like 3 bags of plaster. That's uncarryable. Like on a casual hike through the jungle.
Yeah, but that's
like impossible carry from the suppliers to my van, let alone through the Amazon jungle.
Yeah, that's a 2-man carry, that one. Yeah.
And if you watch how he moves the gun around, it's like it's made of paper mache. He's like, "Oh, this isn't very heavy. I'll just swing this around everywhere."
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We also get now our first look at the Predator. We don't see the Predator, but we see the Predator watching them through his heat vision. Now, this little jungle walk lasts for quite a while, and I'm not going to go through it all because there's lots of ducking in bushes and the Predator watches, having a chat and the Predator watches again. It all ends when they find the camp of gorillas. And I know I don't need to clarify this, but if anyone's not seen this or they're a lot younger, these are not actual gorillas. This is not a gorilla with an O. This is a gorilla with a U. However, I definitely want to see the movie where this is gorillas with an O.
Yeah, I would kind of like that as well a little bit.
It's a military term and it refers to guerrilla warfare, which is a small tactical team who engage in irregular warfare. So not your standard combat. These are people who fight dirty, effectively.
The rebels.
Yeah, rebels. Yeah, like in Colombia, remember that was going on forever. The rebels in the jungle, and then
and now I've cleared that up. I feel that we can carry on because shit goes down when they get here. They scope out the camp, and one of the hostages is killed immediately in front of them, and they move in. This sequence could easily fit into this could easily be a sequence from Commando 2, had they ever made it. It's that action-packed. They stealthily take out the guards on the outskirts of the camp, and then there's a truck that, like, the back wheels have been taken off, and they're using it as like a generator. So the wheels are turning, and it's running a generator. Arnie cuts the belt on this, and then lifts the truck completely off the blocks and drops it on the floor. Fun fact: Arnie actually lifted the truck off the blocks. There was
I never questioned this for a second.
Nice.
He lifted it. It was just the whole truck was a ton. They reckon the back end was just under 1/4 of a ton.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah,
you can bounce a car. Like, I don't know if you've ever, like, you can bounce a car, but lifting a car, that's tough. But lifting that truck, Jesus, because that's impressive.
Because he lifts it and then takes like 2 steps forward to lift it off the blocks before putting it down.
And he actually did, yeah. I would have thought like they maybe used like, some kind of prop, right? Oh, here's a rear axle and the bed and okay.
Yeah, no, this was Arnie just going, it's fine, I'll just lift it. Put the wires away, I'll do it myself. What we get next puts any Michael Bay movie to absolute shame. The truck goes shooting across. It goes into like the main hut where all of the gorillas are and causes a massive explosion. We then get grenades, we get firefighting. The over-the-top explosions are amazing. And Bane gets out his super machine gun. So when they get to this camp, you see like 12 people knocking around. When you see all the death scenes, they kill at least 50 people.
Yeah,
it's like a small town of gorillas. Yeah,
it literally is. It's a community, and they just wipe them out.
Yeah,
it's like all you're missing is Chuck Norris, right? That's like, that's what I think too. Like that style where he goes in and there's just explosions. Their hut, it happens to be the ammo, depot storage facility, and that's also where they have their meals. And then, of course, the truck will go right into there.
Yeah, exactly that. And just to remind you, they're a rescue team. They're not assassins.
Yeah.
I think I'll take my chances on my own. Yeah, that's who they're sending.
We also get Dutch killing someone with the biggest Crocodile Dundee style rubber knife I've ever seen, throwing it at him and pins him to a post. And he gives us a good one-liner. Dave, do you want to take this one-liner away?
Doesn't he? I think he goes, he goes, stick around.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
This is where the truth of the mission all comes to light. And it turns out that it's not really a rescue mission at all. Dylan's kind of had one over on them, and it's them getting intel and getting these weapons that the CIA have sold to the guerrillas. If I'm honest, all of these plot points are completely fucking irrelevant because an alien turns up in a minute. Who cares?
I'm glad you said it because I'm just like, I'm watching this and I'm like, I feel like that's important, but I honestly don't give a shit because that was really exciting, that big explosion that just happened.
Yeah, and this is one of these movies that it's all go, and any kind of plot points or narrative or story it's in there just because they kind of needed to put it in there, and you could ignore all of that because it genuinely doesn't affect, it doesn't change the story in any way.
No difference whatsoever. No difference whatsoever.
In this melee battle, Dutch gets attacked by a lady who he indiscriminately knocks out with the butt of his gun and then looks disappointed that he can't kill her because she's a woman. It's the most sexist thing I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
He smacks her in the face with the gun. She hits the floor. He pulls the gun at her and he kind of goes, oh, damn.
Yeah. But I think we have to mention, like you said, again, rescue team.
Yeah, exactly. Rescue team.
Are they still a rescue team? Because I feel like they were the rescue team, but then found out that their soldiers had been massacred, and now they're just a revenge team.
Well, I'm not sure. They're definitely a killing team.
Yeah,
yeah.
If
they're not doing hostage negotiations. Yeah.
If someone's sending a rescue team for me, do not send these guys because they are going to end up killing. And also, there was 4 hostages in the camp. One of them got shot. And the others died. I can only imagine they died when Dutch sent the explosive truck into the facility where they were.
Oh, so there was actually hostages still within the town. Oh, yeah. Right. I thought they were just like pissed off that because they skinned those guys and then going crazy.
No, there were still hostages, but obviously they killed them when they sent the truck in and caused the massive explosion.
I fully, this plot is worth it.
It's irrelevant. We'll move on. As they're getting set up to leave, the Predator watches, and we get multiple shots again of the heat vision cutting back and forth between what's going on with them and the Predator watching.
One thing I just want to do is I want to retract my statement that I made in the Prey episode. I said that the Prey episode stuck true to the original and kept that the naff heat-seeking camera work as naff as the original. No, that's not true. The original is fucking shite. Prey is a massive improvement on anything that he's done in this film.
The thing is, though, with the special effects in this, Prey could do that easy in comparison. This was, they filmed it and then someone painstakingly sat there and painted over it all.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like this, the Prey episode, like the Prey film, like it's done it in a way that kind of looks crap in order to sort of be in keeping with the original. But then when you watch this, you realize how crap the original is. And you're like, oh, shit.
It reminds me of, because I've used the thermal imaging gun, right? Like you can use it if you're going in somewhere and you have water damage and depending on your job. So I've used plenty of FLIR brand like imagers. And I remember getting this antique one to use. And that's all I could think of is this is like what they used at Predator in like 86, right? Like it's like it was so bad. There was no detail, clarity, but and it's like, and then you use something new and it's just like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. But
and not to jump the gun, man, but later on in the final scene between Arnie and the Predator, man, it's just red screen for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like literally just red screen, nothing. There is nothing, just red.
That's because it was all hot and the predator couldn't see anything. What do you expect?
Yeah. Dutch was covered in mud.
Oh, that's why he lit all the fires.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, all right, okay. Apologies.
Here we get Hawkins have another go at a joke with Billy, and this time he's successful. And he hits us with, "The other day I was going down on my girlfriend, and I said, 'God, you have a big pussy. God, you have a big pussy.' He said, 'Why did you say that twice?' He went, 'I didn't. It was the echo.'"
Oh, oh my God.
Classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's lots of very inappropriate jokes in this. And welcome to the You Run podcast if you're a first time listener. we share all of these. It's at this point where you see Billy first notice that something's wrong, and he kind of looks up into the tree and stares for a while before he wanders off into the jungle with the others. Back in the jungle, they're heading back to the border with now their hostage because Dylan has insisted they take the girl. And Billy says, "Look, the only way we can get back is through the ravine, and we don't want to go through the ravine." And Arnie goes, "Well, we haven't got a choice, so we're going through the ravine." He's like, "Well, okay." And they do. We get to a point where Billy just abruptly stops and stares into the trees. And I love the fact that they show the team here, because like all the team stop in the bushes behind Billy and he's kind of out in the open. And Dutch goes, "What's going on?" They're like, "We don't know. Billy stopped." And none of them have got the balls to go and ask Billy what's going on. And Dutch is like, I'll go and talk to him. He's like, "Well, what's going on, Billy?" He's like, "There's something in the trees over there." And you see him look, but at no point does he go, "You're an idiot. It's nothing. Let's just keep moving." He listens to him, and it actually shows that he's a good leader. And he does this a lot. He listens to his team. And I really like that. This is where the predator decides it's going to hunt them. So you get the girl who tries to escape again, and Hawkins chases her down and grabs her.
And she's right to do that, by the way. Like after seeing how they rescued everybody, I'd be like, you know what? I'll take my chances with the predator and everything poisonous and venomous.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys.
That.
Thank you.
The predator attacks, and we get the first look at his camo. You see like the shimmering effects. I've got to say, considering this is so old, it doesn't look that bad.
No, it's fantastic. It looks really good. Really good. And it's just the odd moment where it maybe like jumps from tree to tree. Where you're like, oh, wow.
By the time the rest of the team get there, Hawkins has died and he's been dragged off into the jungle, and the girl is left there covered in blood. This is the point where she stops being like a side character. So I'm going to give her a name. It's Anna, and she's played by, I'm going to absolutely butcher this, I apologize, Elpidia Carello. She's also got the best acting ability of anyone in the cast.
100%, yeah.
Easily. She's still acting as well. You'll most recently have seen her in Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities in episode 2.
Oh, hold on. I think I've seen that episode. What episode is episode 2? That's
I haven't seen it, man. I can't.
I've seen a couple. I saw the one where there's your man's trying to find the book that's like allows you to summon a demon. I've seen the first like 2 or 3. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but she's in that.
Okay. Let's check it out. Yeah.
Poncho finds what's left of Hawkins. So he goes into the bushes after where Hawkins has gone, and it's just like a pile of mush. And Anna tells him the jungle's taken him. Dutch turns up and goes, "What's going on? Where's Hawkins?" And Poncho goes, "I think what's left of him is in there." And this is where they go in hunt of Hawkins' body. And they're looking round, and then it cuts up into the tree, and you see Hawkins' body hung in the tree, in the highest tree ever. They're never going to find him. And we also get the death of Blaine, and our first look at the alien tech as it blasts him with a laser through the chest, blowing a hole straight through it. Mac gets a look at the Predator and unloads the machine gun into the trees, and everyone else joins in. And there's about a 4-minute scene where they just all fire indiscriminately into the bushes.
Yeah, man, they just fucking massacre this rainforest. Like, where was this filmed? Was this filmed on location?
It was filmed on location.
Oh yeah,
and they
had problems.
Just tear down, man. I mean, in the climate we're in at the moment, you should not be attacking rainforests with these guys.
I think they were probably responsible for a good portion of that the rainforest deforestation that time.
Yeah,
David Attenborough's just falling to his knees watching this film, man.
David Attenborough was a little bit deeper in and going, and if you hear now, that is the sound.
Oh
my God.
Bill Duke unloading heavy artillery.
Loads his daisy cutter into the jungle. Yeah.
Mac says he saw something, but he couldn't explain what it was. He said, "It's like I saw it. It was there," and he sounds a little bit like a lunatic. But again, this is where Dutch doesn't question him, and Dutch just like jumps everyone into action. He's like, "Right, we're going to set up camp. We're going to set up traps and noise all around the camp, and we're going to do tripwires and explosives." And we also see Anna find some of the predator's blood, and she wipes it on her trousers. He gets Dylan to call for an evac, and then we get a touching scene with Mac, and it's the only one in the movie where he gives his hip flask to Blaine and says, "Goodbye, bro." I liked these two. They obviously done lots of missions together, and that actually come across on film. And it's in an action film, it's difficult to do that. It's difficult.
I was going to say, in a film where the plot is wafer thin, these scenes were quite impactful.
Yeah. We cut to the predator healing, so it's cut its leg, and it turns off its camo, and we get a shot of the bottom half of the predator as it's using like a surgical kit to repair itself. We find out the evac isn't coming. They need to get closer to the border before the evac will come in. It will not come in that far. To make matters worse, Billy has the best moment here where he goes, "There's something in the jungle, and it's not human, and we're all going to die." And then just walks away. No apologies. Like, "We're all going to die, by the way," and just wanders off.
I love Billy.
He's brilliant. Yeah, he's very good.
Night falls and Mac takes first watch. Mac has lost it a bit, and he's talking to Blaine, looking at the moon. This was so weird. It's like he's talking to Blaine, who should be next to him, but he's staring at the moon. It's a really weird scene. And then he hears some rustling, and one of their traps goes off, and there's flares go in the sky. And the next thing, he's attacked. First time watch, 100% I thought this was the Predator, but it's not.
No.
And he's viciously stabbing away, and there's blood going everywhere, and he's attacked by a wild boar. Or, as Poncho called it, you killed a pig.
He killed a pig. Killed a pig, yeah.
It's a brilliant fake out.
Yeah. Excuse me. It's done very, very well. Like, obviously, I've seen this film a million times already by this point, but I can imagine the first time I watched it as a kid, I was like, "Oh shit, he's fighting the Predator." Obviously, that's not true, but yeah, I can imagine it had the desired effect.
I'm watching it, you're going, around. He's killing the Predator. Go, Mac, you're doing it. And then it's just a pig. They get back to the camp, and Blaine's body is now gone. So why this fight is going on, the body's been taken. Billy explains there are no tracks. Whatever it is hunting us. Dutch has had enough at this point, and Anna, who hasn't spoken a word of English, Dutch grabs her, and all of a sudden she speaks perfect English. He's scared her into speaking English. And she gives a bit of back plot saying that it's like a chameleon, and she's heard stories of it comes when it's hot, and in the past it's killed other people and they found people skinned. And it also tells Dutch that she found blood of the Predator. Dutch hits us with what is probably the most iconic line of Predator. Dave, over to you.
"If it bleeds, we can kill it." And it bleeds. Can I say it bleeds like a glow stick? The goo. Yeah. That's what it looks like. Oh, that's what I remember thinking it looked like, which I think it was.
Fun fact: the blood was made of glow stick and KY jelly.
Wow.
Hey, that's some prop gold right there.
Yeah. They start setting traps with the intention of making a final stand, and we get an 80s movie montage of trap building. It's like Home Alone, but just with biceps.
Yeah. It's excuse me.
Get to the chopper. Sorry, carry on.
Get the evac.
Sorry, I just nearly died then. I lost my train of thought. Apologies.
You okay?
I think so.
You don't sound okay.
Did you guys hear that then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that Alexa?
Did Alexa just ask if you were okay?
I swear they're spies.
Yeah, it's probably going to send an Uber and just charge you, like pre-charge you, right? Like, yeah.
Next thing I know, an ambulance is turned up at my
Yeah,
house.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Man, I need to turn that thing off, honestly. It freaks me out more than anything.
It is scary. You back with us now?
I'm back with you now. I have no idea what I was talking about, but I'm back with you.
It's fine. Do you know, I was all ready to edit that out until we got an additional guest to the show, and now it's got to stay in. This is the most shirtless, testosterone-filled scene I've ever seen. All of these guys were in their prime when this movie was made. They were all this is peak everybody in this film. This is the biggest and the most jacked they ever got. And it's scary. It's like these guys are huge. Also, something I haven't mentioned is Mac's OCD with his dry shaving. What's that about?
Yeah, man. It's
Yeah,
weird,
there's a
man.
lot
It's
of
it. It looks like the most uncomfortable thing ever. Like
Yeah.
nobody does that, surely.
No, it's definitely strange.
Have you ever used a straight razor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
and it's like that's sharp as hell. And I mean, I remember I got one as a gift a few years back, and I used it. And I was like, even with like a shaving cream, and I was like, you know, Jesus Christ, like this is you don't want to mess with these things. And he's dry shaven.
Yeah, one slip and you look like Pinhead from Hellraiser when he's first coming back.
yeah, exactly.
They set all the traps again. So what they do is they basically all these traps they've set and nothing's happening. So Dutch goes and stands out in the open like bait. Only jump scare I got in this is when the net goes off. There's a net that lifts the predator up into the air and it fires its laser, breaking free. And it sets off another log trap that swings down and absolutely demolishes Poncho. This is where we get our first shot of the predator as it escapes and they give chase. Now, the predator looks cool and has always looked cool. But the guy who plays him, Kevin Peter Hall, is ginormous. This guy is 6'9".
Wow, I did not know he was that big.
With the predator costume, he's 7'2".
How big's Arnie then? How tall's Arnie?
6'6".
Because he's a big dude
well,
as
he's
well. But he
6'6".
looks quite short in comparison to the predator in this film.
He does. To put it in perspective, a standard door opening is 5 inches, or this suit is 5 inches taller than the top of your door frame.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a big, imposing thing.
Yeah, I've seen behind the scenes photos of him in the suit, but I never knew he was like over 7 feet in that. Like I didn't know he was 6'9".
It's hard to adjust, isn't it? It's hard to work out the scale of it because Arnie's such a big guy himself. Like he's bigger than your average person anyway. So like in comparison, it's.
The predator flees and Mac gives chase, and this is where Dylan redeems himself a little bit because he goes, "The Dutch, I'm going to go. You get everyone out of here, and I'm going to go." And we find out Poncho's not dead; he's just massively fucked up. And they try helping him out. Mac is chasing the predator. Dylan is chasing Mac, and the rest, Dutch, Billy, and Anna, and the injured Poncho are all heading to the chopper. Now we get something that I wish they had used in Prey. So earlier in the movie, when the predator was watching everyone, he was also recording their voices, and he starts playing them back, and he's doing playback of Mac calling for someone.
Yeah,
and
cool.
And Dylan heads towards it. Luckily, Mac pulls Dylan into a bush and starts pointing out where the predator is.
Yeah.
And they come up with a plan which, had they knew how the predator worked and what the predator could see, is the stupidest plan ever. It's like, well, you're going to go around and flank him and I'm going to stay here. And the predator's watching them, seeing it in heat vision going, I'll just wait.
Yeah. No, I want to see where this goes. Yeah. He's having a good time. Yeah.
So as he goes around to flank him, you get the predator jumps basically on top of where Mac's hiding and explodes his head. And this looks great.
Yeah, it does until you realise that it doesn't actually explode his head as explosive as the scene portrays it. Because the next scene, Mac's head's still intact. Yeah,
it explodes his head, but it grows back. It's fine. The rest of the team are heading towards the top of Chopper, and we get a little bit of exposition dump. Anna goes to pick up a weapon multiple times, and Dutch keeps slapping her hand and knocking it down. He's like, "Look, it didn't kill you because you weren't armed. There's no sport. Leave the weapons on the ground. Back to Dylan, he discovers Mac's body, and just before his own demise, he gets his arm blown off.
I love this. So cool.
And the gun hits the floor with his hand still attached to it, and it's still firing.
Yeah, amazing.
Only the 80s would do something like this, you know?
Yeah, and then he gets the Predator charges him, and we get the what's now the iconic lift into the air with the two prongs on the glove, lifts him clean off the floor. Back with our escaping team, Billy is now fed up, and he's fed up of being hunted, and he stops on a log going over the river, and he's decided he's going to make a final stand and let the others get away. And he cuts himself across the chest.
Why?
To lure the Predator in. And
Why?
this is, well, it's a not, Prey nodded to this exactly the same way when her brother got cut across the chest and used as bait.
Yeah, but why does he cut himself? I don't understand. Like, does he think the Predator can smell blood, or?
I think that's his logic, and he is a lunatic in this and in real life, and in real life as well.
I want to say, sorry, I want to say this is one of the scenes I remember watching. I was probably way too young to watch this film. My dad had rented it and I watched it after. And that scene I had so many questions and I thought it was like amazing. And that scene stuck with me apart from a few others. But, you know, outside of having Dutch in a scene or Carl Weathers, that was like, I thought that was really cool. Like you said, yeah, he doesn't know what he's dealing with, but he's like, I'm going to, you know what? Blood is pretty much the best bait you can get for it doesn't matter what I'm fighting. So here we go. Yeah, and he's going to go out. He's like, I'm going out my own terms. Here we go. You know,
this is great, and it's a great scene, and it's a great plot point in the story. But you know what? We ultimately get robbed by it because we don't get to see this showdown.
There's a reason. Yeah. Again, we'll get to that. In fact, there's a very good reason why we never got this.
You do this to me every week, and I bring up something really cool. You will save it for facts.
Spoiler: Billy dies. We hear his scream. He screams. He dies off screen. No sooner has he killed him, he hasn't slowed the Predator down at all, because it kills Poncho with a laser blast to the head like a second later. Dutch also gets blasted in the shoulder. Now, this is the laser that took Dylan's arm clean off and blew a
holes
hole
in several people.
It hits Dutch's shoulder, and he like brushes it off and gets up.
Yeah,
and this is
it's like he stuck his tongue on a 9-volt battery.
And this is when he gets up and he hits us with the line as he tells Anna to go somewhere. Dave, where does he say go?
He says, get to the chopper.
He does. Oh, God, editing this to do a chopper count is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait, yeah. I feel bad for you, but I'm also greedy. Yeah, I want to see this.
Dutch is also making his way to the chopper. There it goes, another one. With the Predator in hot pursuit. Thankfully for Dutch, he slips down a hill, going off a cliff, landing in a river, and then going off several waterfalls. He would have died without a shadow of a doubt from this. He pulls himself up from the river as the Predator jumps in. As he climbs up to the bank, he ends up covered in mud. The Predator gets up on the bank, and Dutch realizes that he can't see him. And this is when he goes, I can kill this. And we get our second 80s trap montage building scene. 100% this was an excuse to show off Arnie's muscles in as many bodybuilding poses as he could in the 5 minutes this scene goes on. In reality...
5 minutes? This film is an hour and 47 minutes, and at least 37 of them were spent on this montage.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. It's a great montage. It's a great 80s montage.
The best thing about it is when he builds a bow and arrow. That's it. Everything else could have been cut.
He sets a trap with loads of spikes, pulls a very large log into a tree, and makes a super bow, which no human man could have bent that wood to make that super bow. We get a super fast shot of the Predator removing the spine and the skull from Billy in one foul swoop. Which means there are no conspiracy theories that Billy may be alive, unlike other movies that we talk about quite often. Billy's dead.
Billy's very good.
Yeah, you let that go, Mark. I'm proud of you.
I'm trying hard to let it go, but I'm not rising to it. I feel like you deserve the rise out of me.
This montage, I actually put it in my notes. This montage is 9.5 minutes long.
Wow.
Is it 9 hours? It felt.
That's a long time. That's a huge.
It's a huge montage.
It felt a lot longer.
The montage comes to an end with Dutch screaming into the dark, holding a flaming torch, which he throws onto a bonfire to lure the predator in. He now climbs up a tree and waits.
Right. I'm just going to call bullshit right now on this whole scene, right? Because the predator, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my cough this evening. The predator builds his whole thing on thermal imaging, right? Now he is in the jungle, the vastest of jungles. If somebody lit a match, this guy could see it miles away.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is literally flexing the sweatiest of pecs around the bonfire.
He is covered in mud.
For what feels like 4 hours. No, but the bonfire's not. So if the predator is actively hunting this guy in this jungle, he would know him where he is immediately.
He would, but I think he waited because he wanted him to set up his trap because Predator wants a challenge. He doesn't want it easy. So he sat there going, is he done yet? Oh, he screamed, he's done now. I'll go now.
Oh, right. Okay. He was waiting.
That's my cue. That's my cue.
Yeah, that's my time to come. He's covered in mud and he climbs up a tree and we get the predator crawls down and crawls right past him. And this I loved. This looked brilliant where he, at one point, he even puts an arm over him and he's completely unaware he's there. The predator walks into the trap and Dutch fires a bow and arrow wrapped in some explosive leaves, causing a massive explosion. We go full circle here because we get the predator starts wildly shooting in every direction, which is what happened to the original search team that went in. This scene is incredible. The panned back shot of all the sparks and the fire and the predator firing lasers, it still looks great. Yeah, I love this.
It looks cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. I always
it's very well
done.
done.
That scene where you get the predator stood on the log, and it's almost like the silhouette shadow of the predator, and all the stuff's going off behind him, and the explosions and all the rest of it. Was that like actually an actor in that scene, or do you reckon that was like a cardboard cutout? That looks like a very, very flammable set.
Yeah, no, that was Kevin Peter Hall.
That's cool, man. That's really, really cool because there is so much stuff going on. There's explosions everywhere. Everything's on fire. And I'm like, wow, that's dangerous.
No,
80s, man. 80s, man. They don't give a shit,
exactly.
Yeah. Have you got a risk assessment? A risk of what now?
Yeah.
The predator does get lucky and manages to knock Dutch out of a tree. And the predator goes in pursuit as he's seeing now that trees are moving and he's using the sound to hunt down where Dutch is. So he's given up on thermal imaging now. He's looking at trees moving and noises, which is really cool that you see him have the moment where he goes, I can't see him. How can I track him? Dutch hits him with an exploding spear. I don't know what else to say. He throws
everything explodes.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, why is that not sharp and pointy? And then the next thing I know, it's like an instant grenade. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How have you upgraded your weaponry so quickly, considering you fell off a waterfall 10 minutes ago with nothing?
With nothing but like a belt and some boots.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He was wearing a vest and some boots. That was it. Now he's taking on the most explosive thing ever.
But to quote somebody who says this a lot, a film's got a film.
Nah, fuck off. The
predator gets cut and Dutch goes in pursuit following the luminous blood trail that's been sent. And we head into the final scenes now. So Dutch, after setting another explosive trap for the predator, ends up in a pond, which cleans all of the mud off of him. Literally every single spot of mud is gone from this one drop in the water. And the predator can see him. The predator pins him against a wall. And this is kind of where I thought, it's going to be the final fight here. And the predator doesn't kill him. Instead stops and takes off his mask in what I can only assume is a show of respect. You've given me a run for my money. I'm going to take off my mask. Let's do this hand to hand.
Yeah.
Practical effects on the mask are still outstanding, even now.
Yeah. Wow. Hold up better than most, to be honest with you. I think the predator looks incredible at this point. It's a shame we don't get to see it any sooner.
Yeah, and I think they went with the kind of Jaws style. We won't show you the monster till the very end. They stuck with that. We're going to keep it all in reserve. We want you to be going, what is it? What is it? What is it? All the way through.
It's just disappointing, really, because it's just a stormtrooper with dreadlocks up until this point.
It is.
Stormtrooper dreadlocks. But better aim than a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
It must be said.
We get the final fight, and Arnie hits it, and the Predator kind of just makes a noise at him and then sends him flying about 40 foot away just by like the slightest tap of his arm. Arnie runs, and he lures the Predator down to where he set the trap with the spikes. And the Predator stops and looks at him, and Arnie's going, come on. And he kind of turns his head and is like, well, there's spikes under there. I'm not stupid. But obviously, it was Arnie's plan all along, or Dutch's plan all along. He knew the Predator would spot that trap and go the other side, which he does, and he drops a massive log on him, crushing him.
Oh, you see, I didn't get that. I didn't pick that up when I watched this. I was like, oh, that's fucking convenient.
Yeah, no, I think it was always his plan that I'm going to leave this really obvious trap and I'm going to get you with one that's not as obvious.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. That makes it a little bit more palatable then.
He's pinned under the log and Dutch is about to kill him with a rock. And then he stops. The first time watching this, I can still remember going, oh, he's going to leave him to suffer. Good. That's what he deserves. But he doesn't. He stops and he goes, what the hell are you? To which the Predator replies in shock that this mere human has taken him down, like, what the hell are you? I'm going to say it. The Predator is a fucking sore loser.
He took the easy way out.
Yeah, starts tapping on a keypad on his arm and sets off like a wrist bomb.
Yeah, it's like self-destruct mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then turns into Vincent Price as he cackles as Arnie runs away.
Well, that's Billy's laugh, isn't it? He recorded Billy's laugh earlier on.
Yeah, but it does sound very much like Vincent Price. Dutch runs away and avoids the explosion, which is amazing because this is the same explosion that rocks a helicopter in the sky, but Dutch is fine.
Yeah, this is like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. The helicopter lands and Anna's there and the general's there and they pick up Dutch. The Predator theme hits as they fly off into the sunset, and you just get Dutch staring out, looking a bit dazed and confused and with a little smile on his face. End credit scene.
I don't
know.
Where do you even start with this?
I do not know how much cocaine was on this set. I think a lot.
Because the thing is, as well, it's filmed in a way where they're like, hey guys, we're going to film this end credit sequence. So just like 90s sitcom or 80s sitcom the shit out of it. Pretend like you're on an intro for Cheers and just turn and give me your most ridiculous pose at the camera. But what you've got to do is you've got to start with your back to me and then turn and Vogue.
Yeah. Do you know the crazy thing is I have a reel made where I've used the soundtrack to Cheers with this end montage.
No way.
I cannot believe you just said Cheers.
What are the odds of
great
this?
minds think alike.
So that will be out on release day, so you can see that wonderful thing I've created. They're all happy and they all turn and they all give us a smile. I tell you who won't spin and give us a smile is Dave, because it's horror, not horror.
Wait, master. It might be dangerous.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with fly.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh shit, dude, I found a dildo!
The price is wrong, bitch.
The question is it horror? Or is it not horror?
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
I am not Mr. Lebowski.
He slimed me.
So BP of Let's Talk Horror Channel tops the leaderboard with a score of 70 points. We're going to give you 15 movie quotes, and all you need to do is say whether it's a horror movie or not a horror movie. We don't need you to tell us the movie. If you know it, great. But if you don't, just horror or not horror. You got a 50-50 chance. And before Marc gets smart and clever, for the purposes of this quiz, if there is a Predator quote, that is a horror. If there is a movie that is a PG movie or is not technically a horror, It's not horror.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Mark, would you like to take the first quote, or would you like me to take the first quote?
I'll let you take the first quote.
Okay. So quote number 1, Dave. All we need to know, is it horror or is it not horror? My men are not expendable, and I don't do this kind of work.
Horror.
It is horror. Do you know what movie it's from?
Isn't it from Predator?
It is from Predator.
Yeah.
Dutch.
Yeah, it's Dutch. Yeah, that's. I was pretty sure. Sorry. Yeah, I was pretty sure about that. I'm like, this has to be Predator.
Yeah, that's 10 points.
Technically, it's not horror, but okay.
Yeah, I knew there was going to be a comment.
So question number 2. So you cook. Excuse me, I'll start again. So you cooked up a story and dropped the 6 of us in the meat grinder.
Horror.
That is horror.
Any idea what movie?
You know what? I'll be honest. It's one of those that kind of sounds familiar. I think it's a horror. I don't know. What movie is that from?
Scott.
It's also from Predator.
Okay, yeah. All right. That makes sense.
It's not technically a horror film again.
Oh, for God's sake.
For the sake of the game, I'll play along.
Number 3. I want the people to know that they still have 2 out of 3 branches of the government working for them, and that ain't bad.
Crap. I'm going to say not horror.
That one, unfortunately, was a horror. It was Mars Attacks.
Oh, I was thinking it was Independence Day or something like that. I was like, this sounds like... And the whole PG thing was getting me. Yeah, of course, Mars Attacks. For God's sake, I should have got that one.
That's just good.
You're playing fast and loose for these rules of this game. I would not say that's horror either. You were going to fall out, I'm telling you. It's not right.
You're on 20 points, Dave. You're doing well.
Okay, all right.
Question number 4. My sweet pussycat. Rawr. I knew from the moment I saw your flat head and that cute little scar that I wanted to spend every moment tightening those neck bolts. All I ask is that we spend the rest of our lives together, the rest of our lives going disgracefully old together.
Okay, I'm thinking the PG rule here, so I'm pretty sure it's the Monsters, and it's not horror.
That's right, it is the Monsters, and it is not horror.
Yeah,
that's more horror than Mars Attacks. What are you doing? Who makes these rules?
You're on 30 points. Number 5. It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
I'm going to say horror. I'm taking a bit of a stab at it.
It's not. That one is Fight Club from 1999.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah.
Question number 6. Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight?
Not horror.
That's correct. Can you tell me what film it is?
No, Lord of the Rings, the second one.
No. I would know. No. You would know if it was the Lord of the Rings. No, that is Troy from 2004.
Oh, okay.
So you're doing well. You're on 40 points. So you're over halfway to catch your BP. Number 7. Never thought I'd be fighting by the side of an elf.
Do you want to read that properly? Do you want to try that one again, my mate?
Never thought I'd die fighting by the side of an elf. Sorry, Marc.
Do you want to try that one again?
Never thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know. You know what? I know this quote.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
I should. Yeah. Hold on. Oh Jesus. Yeah, this is very, very, very familiar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
About what you just said, like 30 seconds
not horror. Yeah, I'm gonna go with not horror. Yeah.
It is not horror. Any idea what movie?
Lord of the Rings.
It is.
Which one?
Let's go with second or third one. Is it Helm's Deep? Maybe. Yeah, let's go second one.
It is the second one. You've already answered this question before it even
yes,
came up.
see, it's not rigged, by the way, everybody. Before everyone goes, hold on, this is a little weird now. I don't have a piece of paper in front of me.
Did you purposefully butcher that question on purpose?
I may have done. So that's you're on 50 points. Over to you, Marc.
Question number 8. By the way, I would have voted for Obama for a third time if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands down.
Sorry, can you just repeat the first half again?
I'll repeat the full thing for you.
Okay.
By the way, I would have voted for Obama for a third time. If I could, best president in my lifetime, hands down.
I'm gonna go not horror. I'm not too sure. I'm just taking a bit of a guess here.
Unfortunately, that was a horror. That was Get Out from John Peele's 2017.
Oh, god damn it.
Number 9, a nice short one. This is for Tupac.
First and foremost, rest in peace, Tupac. Great musician. And I'm sorry that I don't know the quote you were mentioned in, but I'm gonna go with the '90s classic starring Tupac, Above the Rim.
Is that a very meta film? Is it?
You know what? I actually like that film. I thought it was good. Yes, but let's go with not horror.
Unfortunately, that is horror. It's the Child's Play remake from 2009.
What is the context of this quote, by the way? I have to know now.
This is the puppet when they're talking about Tupac, and they keep going, this is for Tupac, and then Buddy comes in holding a knife and goes to stab one of them, and as he goes to stab him, he goes, this is for Tupac.
Awesome.
For God's sake.
Oh, that's such a good film, man. I think that's so underrated.
You know, I don't know why I said not horror, because I was thinking initially maybe like Leprechaun in the Hood. You know, I was just thinking something else. So why did I say not horror? Stupid.
The most jarring thing is you went for a film that actually starred Tupac.
I just exactly. Why would he say that? Yeah. I just thought I'd drop it, with my amazing knowledge of 90s films.
Right, question number 10. You couldn't bring yourself to kill me before, and I don't believe you'll destroy me now.
Damn it. Oh, God. I want to say horror. I'm just, whatever. Let's go horror.
Unfortunately, that is not horror, and that is Return of the Jedi.
I knew it. I said, I'm going to say horror. I've been saying not horror. Oh, God.
That's all right. You're still doing good. You've got 4 questions to go, and you need 20 points to catch BP. So, number 11. It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horathon, followed by the big giveaway. Don't miss it, and don't forget, wear your mask. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Horror.
It is horror. Do you know what it's from?
You know what? I don't. I have an idea, but I don't think it's right.
It's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Okay. No, I knew, yeah, okay. I was like, I've heard this, I've seen this before. I was like, but yeah, if I had to pick, I wouldn't have said Halloween 3. Probably would have picked something.
Nobody
fair enough.
Halloween 3.
Yeah, but now that, hold on, Halloween 3 is coming back. I keep seeing all these memes where, like with some of the newer films, it hasn't been everyone's cup of tea. I'm just going to put it out there. And yeah, it's like all of a sudden.
It's turning into a bit of a movement, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah. It's funny that all of a sudden, if you extend the franchise, and then all of a sudden people start revisiting and they go, maybe it wasn't that bad.
I mean, who would have thunk it? David Gordon Green was a man to make Halloween 3 decent.
Yeah.
Right, so question number 12. Hey everyone, with a pulse. Oh, I'll start that again because I completely mispronounced the grammar as I was reading it. Hey, everyone with a pulse is going to lust after a piece of Maxine Minx once they get to see what you can do.
This is tough. This sound. I'm just going to go with horror. This sounds like something that'll be said.
Yeah, that's correct. It is horror. Can you tell me what film it's from?
Sorority House Massacre 2.
Good guess. Not far away.
No, not
really?
far away at all. No, that was X from 2022.
So you're now on 60 points. Number 13. That's right. You gave it up. You're no longer a virgin. You're not a virgin. Now you die. Those are the rules.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'm going to say horror.
It is horror.
It's from the Scream franchise.
It is.
I'm gonna say the original.
It is the original.
Yes.
It's Stu Marker line.
Stu, I was just gonna say. I know I'm like a broken record. Hashtag Team Stu. He's coming back, baby.
Yes. Right, look, we don't need to go down that road.
Yes,
we haven't got the time this evening to do that.
That's for a later episode.
You're on 70 points and you are tied with BP now with 2
questions.
Well,
I'm honoured. Okay.
2 questions to go, and here we go. Question number 14. Patrick, I'd love to do this all night, and something tells me you would, but it's time we make like your personality and split. Would you like me to read that again? Because I got laughed in my own laughter.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? Let's go crazy. Yeah, read
Patrick, Patrick, I'd love to do this all night, and something tells me you would too, but it's time we split like... I've completely lost myself in this.
That's okay.
Where has this come from? Patrick, I'd love to do this all night, and something tells me you would, but it's time we make like your personality and split.
Horror. And I'm thinking, what's that movie? I can't remember the movie, but I'm just going to go with horror.
Unfortunately, according to the rules, this is not horror. But based on the previous answers we've had throughout the rest of this quiz, this absolute abomination of a quiz, this is Scooby-Doo's Monsters Unleashed. How is Scooby-Doo's Monsters Unleashed not horror?
How did I not get that?
It's a PG.
It's PG, yeah.
It's got more horror themes and more horror bases than anything that is in Mars Attack, surely.
No, Mars Attacks is evil aliens attacking, going
killing, and
that's it.
Which we've done. Yeah, we've done that episode together. That was a good one. It was fun.
Final question: if you get this one right, you take top of the leaderboard. Okay, if you get it wrong, you stay tied with BP. You son of a bitch! You said he only killed 9 people, and there's over 40 victims here.
Oh, that's horror. That's 13 ghosts, isn't it?
It is 13 ghosts. So you are now
top
of our leaderboard. 80
Yes.
points.
Thank you.
Well done. Very, very well.
That was great. Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun.
We need to have a little talk about this quiz when we
yeah, off the air. There's going to be a lot going on. Yeah.
Moving into 3-word review. Wilbert Willie. Apex meets Apex, and they are a horror and mask account. Regular 3-word reviewer. Chainsaw Chicken Barbecue.
That's great.
Great account. Uncomfortable dry shaving.
Love it.
And they're a horror account. Pip Shop Homebrew, very highly quotable, and they're a homebrew account. Favorite line from this? My favorite is Blaine. I ain't got time to bleed. What's yours, Mark? You've got to have a favorite quote from this movie.
Mine is the same one. I ain't got time to bleed.
Is it, Dave?
I loved it. I even messaged you. I was like, that dude just turned around and said, "We ain't got time to bleed."
Yeah.
There's so many quotable ones. But I'm gonna say, get to the chopper. Purely.
You're just trying to get him a ding for the chopper.
Yeah, I am. That's partly. I mean, one, it's such an iconic line, and it's still used, and also it's going to help the counter.
It's definitely going to help the counter. When I release this, I'm going to let people guess how many times we said chopper in this.
This is going to be good. Yeah.
Another regular, Eric 82. Goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus. And they're a mixed fandom account. They're sharing some really cool books on their stories and their page at the moment. And finally, Video Tasties. Needs Van Damme. Which takes us beautifully, Gareth. Thank you very, very much. Awesome account on Instagram and on YouTube. Takes us lovely into facts and fuck-ups. So, Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast to play the Predator, and he was on set. He filmed many, many scenes for this in the Predator costume. They wanted someone who was almost like a ninja to play this role, and they liked it. That was kind of what they were after. Van Damme moaned constantly about the suit, about how hot it was. He didn't like the fact that he wasn't seen on camera because he was a big star. He wanted to be people to see his face. After all these reservations, he was eventually let go. He was sacked for his bad attitude, but the official line is he was sacked because he was too short.
Yeah, I mean, because Van Damme's quite a short guy, isn't he? I don't think he's pushing 6 foot, is he?
No, he's not.
No.
And if you go onto YouTube, you can see loads of original shots and some original footage of the original design for Predator and Van Damme on set in the suit. And it's completely different to the Predator we got now. The Predator that we had with Van Damme was almost closer to one of the Demogorgons in Stranger Things. It was that kind of design.
That's weird.
The thing is, as well, though, I kind of feel like I would have liked a shorter stature Predator going up against the bigger Arnie.
Yeah.
Like, the size of the human
the contrast
versus,
and
like the tech ability and the outwitting of a Predator versus
like force multipliers kind of thing where he's not as big, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would have maybe been more beneficial to the Predator story. I don't know. That's just probably because that's what we didn't get, so it would have been interesting to see it. I'm not saying necessarily it would have been better. Just in hindsight, as it might have worked to have that sort of
the contrast between
David and Goliath kind of thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we kind of had that, but it was Arnie who was David, which is just insane to say. Jesse the Body Ventura and Arnold Schwarzenegger had issues. They got on with each other really, really well. But Jesse Ventura decided that he would prank Arnie. So what he'd done is the first day on set, he got into the gym an hour before Arnie and drenched himself in a bottle of water. Arnie turned up and went, fuck, he's been here for ages and he's been working out. So then worked out even harder. And this went into a game of one-upsmanship where it reached a point that they were both arriving at the gym at 4 a.m. together every single day to work out.
Wow.
Which is just mind-boggling.
In the jungle. In the jungle. I said this earlier, that the Predator's blood was glow sticks and KY jelly. Going on to Billy, played by Sonny Landham. So he had some issues, one of which was a particularly violent, nasty temper. Which is why we never got that fight scene, because they never put Billy or put that actor in a situation where he was physically violent with anyone, because he quite liked it. So much so that the studio's insurance company would only agree to the production if there was a bodyguard for Sonny. Now, the bodyguard was not to protect Sonny. The bodyguard was to protect everybody else from Sonny.
It's amazing what steroids do to a person's mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fact that there's someone at an insurance broker's who's gone, we can't insure you unless you make that guy safe.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
So he had a carer on set, basically.
Effectively, just to keep him in check. Kevin Peter Hall stated in an interview that it was a survival story for everybody. It wasn't a picnic on set. The scene where Predator chases Dutch into the water, so that water wasn't clean and beautiful as it looked. It was foul, rotten, full of leeches.
No.
The film production as a whole, they filmed this on location in a rainforest in the summer. It was 40-degree heat and staggering humidity. They had leeches, snakes, spiders, where Arnie's covered in all the mud.
Yeah.
So that's actually modelling clay that they covered him in. And the modelling clay cooled him down so much that he got freezing cold, and he used to have to sit in front of heat lamps and sit
in the middle of the jungle.
In the middle of the jungle, because he was so cold under this clay. Sitting under the heat lamps just dried it all out, which gave them the wrong effect. So he took to drinking a mixture of schnapps to try and warm himself up, but this just got him drunk.
Oh, for God's sake.
I imagine due to the size of it must take a lot to get Arnie drunk.
It's a lot of schnapps, yeah.
It's a huge amount to do that. To get a man that size drunk must be ridiculous amounts. And yeah, you imagine being the director, put him in front of some heat lamps. I was drying it out, that looks shit. And Arnie going, it's fine, I'll just drink a little bit of schnapps and be okay. And then coming back to him like 20 minutes later and he's absolutely slaughtered.
Covered in clay. Yeah, he's a beast of a man. Yeah.
I already know.
We need footage. If only there was footage of this. This would be...
as for fuck ups for this movie, there is literally enough to fill an entire episode, but none of them are particularly exciting. There's none in there that made me go, oh, wow, that's a great fact. I want to share that. There's only one that I want to share. So there's a bit where when they first find the skinned bodies, Poncho is hunched down and they're all talking. There's a bit where the boom mic, just to the side of the camera, hits Poncho in the back of the head and he turns and then turns back and they left it in.
Oh my God.
No way.
That's amazing.
It's like on the corner of the screen and it's like a blink and you miss it. But they're all sat there and like the camera's like he's tucked in the corner. All of a sudden this thing just goes on the back of his head. He's like, what was that? And then it carries on. As I said, most of the fuck ups are really dull. So if you want to go find them, go Google them. What's not dull is our new t-shirt designs on yourunpodcast.com. We've got a special one that is out now, which is all around Marc and living in the Shire, which says, I'm going on a fucking adventure. It's now available. However, if you are poor like the rest of us and you're all struggling with increased costs on everything, you can do so for free. Go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a review. It's free to do, and we give you 2 episodes every week completely for free. So please go and review us. It really, really helps the show. Marc, I'm going to let you kick off your roundup this week because I think you're going to put it on a downer and then me and Dave are going to bring it back to life. So you go first.
I'm going to put it on a massive downer because this is an action movie and doesn't belong on the show. What are we even doing here at the moment? Look, right, I like The Predator. I like The Predator as a film. I think it's very, very good. I like Arnie movies. I like Sylvester Stallone movies. I even like a Bruce Willis movie from time to time. I grew up on these films. I'm at an age now where I'm mature enough to know that this is just bang, 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 loud fireworks, bang, 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 muscles, sweat, steroids. And there is no depth to any of these films. Like, I enjoyed this movie for what it was on a rewatch. But for fuck's sake, man, it's not that good, is it? Let's be honest. I think everybody who likes these films just holds this sense of childhood nostalgia growing up with them because this is what their dad had in the house. So we all used to watch it on repeat. Like, I grew up with a collection of VHSs in my house, such as like Lethal Weapon and Die Hard and Predator and Running Man and Commando and every single Arnie film you could think of, because that's what was readily available to me growing up. That's all I could get my hands on. So I watched those films religiously growing up. But in hindsight now, when you watch these back 20, 30 years later, they just don't hold up very well. It's a lot of noise and not a lot else. And I think it's taken something like Prey, which came out recently, to show that there is a lot of depth and potential with a story and a concept like this if it's done right and handled well. And I don't want to take anything away from the era that these films came out in because it was all the rage. And when I was younger, I loved it for everything that it was. I burnt these tapes out. I watched them daily. But they just don't hold up very well today. And I don't know. I'm so conflicted, man, because I don't want to bash on The Predator because The Predator is a good film. But it's hard to feel like anybody watching this now today can get the same level of enjoyment out of it as is intended. There's so much wrong with it. It's so weak within the plot. The acting, let's be honest, is borderline diabolical. The cheesy one-liners that are rammed down your throat. The fact that every single gunshot is followed through with a sparkler effect. It's not great, and it doesn't hold up very well. And I'm sorry, guys. I know you're both looking at me as if to say this fucking monster. And I'm sorry. I like it. It's a good film, and it's enjoyable for what it is. But if you had to sit and critically take this film apart, you're not left with a lot of meat on the bones. It's just, I don't know. I know I'm in the minority.
Coming from the man who scored Sharknado so ridiculously high.
I like Sharknado.
Come on, hit us with a score. How much have you devastated this movie by?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to destroy it, and I'm not going to give it a low score because of what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say that it's not a horror film. My point is that this is not a horror film. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And it's so well embraced by the horror community. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Predator, man, fucking yeah. And it's like, yeah, but it's an action film. It's an action movie. And I'm not saying that some of the later sequels aren't. Some of the later sequels that are set within this universe, Alien versus Predator, all that sort of stuff, yeah, they combine and they hit harder on the horror elements. This one doesn't. This one is a straight up action film, with barring maybe 2 scenes which feature something that could be probably categorized as horror. So for me, it's that old age debate between, is Predator a horror or is it an action film? Is Terminator 1 a slasher film or is it an action film? And I don't know where I fall with this. I've watched this now multiple times throughout my life, and never once have I ever thought that this was a horror film. And I still to this day can't make up my mind whether I think it is or it isn't. The concept and the ideas behind it have all the horror elements there, but the execution it's just a pure action carnage. It's just an Arnie fest, and that's all it is for 1 hour and 47 minutes, which, by the way, is very fucking excessive for this film. It doesn't need to be this long. I'm going to round it up quickly, and I'm just going to say
before you round it up, if it wasn't 1 hour and 47 minutes long, how would you fit in all of those one-liners?
If you took out all of those one-liners, this would be a 45-minute film. No, so in all seriousness, though, I'm going to round it up. I'm going to say it's a 3.5 out of 5. It's still a great film. It brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. I enjoyed watching it again for the show, even though I don't feel like it belongs on the show.
Okay. Dave, I'll let you go, and then I'm going to explain why it is a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously got a special place, because just from the era I watched it in and the era it was made for. I mean, I got to take it at face value. Sorry, I got to take it not necessarily at face value, but for, as I said, what it is and for the time it was made. I think it still holds up. I think it's still great. I know it's out of 5. I mean, I suppose, I'm probably going to go, you know what, who cares? I'm going to go 4 out of 5.
That's a lot lower than I expected you to give it, Dave. I'll be honest with you.
I love it.
At least in the top 4.5, maybe even a 5.
Yeah, I would say 4. I mean, it's got a few, it's got some small issues, but that's, that's all just minor details.
Yeah. For me, this is the perfect action horror. Yeah. And it is definitely a horror because you get every element of horror in this. You get skinned humans, you get body horror, you get gore with head explosions and big explosions in the chest. You've got a vicious killer hunting people through a jungle. This is at its core a slasher. It's a
don't insult me.
It's a very obscure slasher, but this, without a shadow of a doubt, is a slasher. I really enjoy the Predator franchise. I'm a huge fan of this franchise. Even the crap ones they churn out, I'm still there. I'm still there clapping my hands like a schoolboy going, this is great. This is great. The one-liners are dated. I get a laugh out of them. And they're good fun. For me, it's an 8 out of 10. If you want to watch this, it's free in the UK if you've got a Disney Plus subscription, and the same in the US if you've got HBO Max, and it's literally available to rent on every platform. Dave, I know you are pushed for time, so if you want to say your goodbyes now, and then we'll get into Marc's anagram. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you guys. Again. Yeah, I really appreciate being back. It's amazing. The show's evolved, and it's a great bit of nostalgia to, I was listening the first time you did this, and now we're back. And thank you so much for having me on. And, obviously I just think the show is going to go onwards and upwards. And I'm looking forward to listening. And I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for making the show what it is, because without you, it wouldn't have been this.
Well,
hey. Dave, thanks for your kind words. It's very humbling, man. I appreciate that.
No, thank you, guys. I mean, I really enjoy the show, and keep looking forward to what you have in store.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Less action films in the future.
We'll catch you in a bit. Cheers, Dave.
Thank you so much, guys. Okay, all the best. Thank you.
Continue. Don't look at me like that. What's going on with you tonight? What have you done? You've botched our quiz. You've botched the purpose of this show. We're a horror movie podcast.
I'm leaving all of this in. Anagram time, Mark. Can you please give us an anagram? And if it's not get to the chopper, I'm going to be devastated.
Right. So last week's anagram was cow herpes, which was fairly easy, I think. I don't know. I think it was fairly easy. And the answer is creep show. How did everybody do? I feel like it was a pretty simple one this week.
There was a few that were like, bang, straight away.
Yeah, I know who those people are. They are on it week in, week out.
There's a scoreboard up this week. We have a couple of clear leaders and we've got a couple of people right on their heels. I'm only ever going to post the top 5. So if you're not in the top 5, thank you very much for playing. But I'm not doing the massive leaderboard that's got all of you on it because that takes up too much time and effort. So only
if you haven't committed the top 5, don't worry. We still have time. You can get your way there. Don't worry.
Yeah, you still get there. And if we get to the end and we've got 5 people tied, there's 5 T-shirts that get sent out. So yeah, keep playing. What is this week's anagram?
This week's anagram is Death by Scorn. And that is spelled DeathsByscorn. Deaths by Scorn.
That's hard.
Yeah, write it down. It might make it easier.
Yeah, I think that's hard. I think people will struggle this week. I hope they do, because otherwise we are going to be pumping out loads of free T-shirts.
I have got a lot of harder ones, but I'm trying to save them more towards the end because I feel like it's going to get to that point where it's going to get really neck and neck. And then I'll just start dropping some serious bombs.
Yeah.
At the moment, I feel like quite a lot of the films are fairly obvious films, but I have films that like maybe 20% or 30% or even 5% of our listeners might have actually seen. Still to come.
Okay, now that's good. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you everybody for listening. I can't believe it's been 2 years since the beginning of this show. It boggles my mind, and I genuinely can't believe that you've been a part of the show for an entire year now.
I know, that's insane. That's insane.
It doesn't feel that long. It's like we do this every Friday, but it doesn't feel like I've been talking to you every Friday for 4 hours for a year.
No, even though we have probably been doing that for about 2 years now. It's only been a year since I've come on the show to do it.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. If you'd have said to me tonight and you're like, oh, how long have you been on the show? I'd have been like, maybe 4, 5, 6 months at a push.
Yeah, no, it's an entire year now. It's 2 years almost from your very first appearance on the show.
Wow. Back in the day when I did Halloween.
You did do Halloween and we had loads of recording issues and you said 100% of the time.
I would love to know how many times I said 100%.
Fuck off. I'm not going back and doing a count on that.
That would be a bigger fucking clock count than your chopper thing that you've got going on this evening.
Why are you still adding to it?
I don't know. I can't help it.
How should I do the count? We'll iron it out now. Do we want a little ding for everyone or do I just need to count them?
What's easiest? Is it just easier for you to count them or is it easier for you to add the ding?
I'll be honest, either one is an absolute ball ache, but I've said
I'll
do it.
Which one's harder for you to do?
The dings.
Yeah, we'll do the ding thing.
I thought you would. Thanks a lot. We are back on Friday with horror movie news. This is where you get up to date on horror movie news, funnily enough. We also talk about personal shit about our lives, our wives, our kids, our everything. That show, if you like listening to me and Marc bicker and argue, that show is 100% for you. On this show next week, we are rolling into our third Alien style movie in 3 weeks. So we've done Prey, we're doing Predator, and next week we're going back to the year I was born, 1982, and we're going to take on The Thing by John Carpenter.
Oh, what? We're not doing a Chuck Norris movie? What's going on?
It's got to stop. It's a horror. In fact, let's open it to the listeners. Is Predator a horror movie? You can call the show by a voice note on Instagram. So just go to Instagram direct message and there's a little voice record me a voicemail there, or go to yourunpodcast.com and record us a voicemail there. Is Predator a horror movie? Yes or
And just
no?
know that if you're going to do this and you're going to come prepared to put yourself on the show, come prepared. Actually give me validation of why this is a horror movie. And also, if you're on the same team as me, which hopefully you all are, and you know that this is an action movie, explain to Scott why this is an action movie and why it doesn't belong on the show.
If you look on any website this is advertised or any streaming service, this is listed as an action horror.
No, it's not. If you type in Predator right now on Google, it's sci-fi action.
Do you know what? I'm going to take up the challenge now. So I'm going to Google.
Go to Google and don't lie to me. Don't lie to me on the show because you know I'm doing the same thing you're doing right now.
Predator 1987. Where do you want to go? IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes?
Just go. What does it say on Google?
On Google, it says action sci-fi. Google's not the be-all and end-all.
It pretty much is, isn't it? Let's be honest. Go on then. What we're going with next?
Let's go with IMDb. So what is IMDb?
Clicking the link now at the same time as you.
This is going to be very depressing.
This is going to be very depressing for you. I'm embarrassed for you a little bit, I'll be honest. Where does it say on here? Action adventure. Oh, it does say horror on IMDb.
Oh, does it? Oh, what a shame.
It does say action adventure horror.
It's got horror in there.
It says it in small case brackets, quotation marks at the end.
Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes, and then this is the decider. Rotten Tomatoes.
I feel like you've already done your research on this.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Action adventure. Boom. Right, okay. Don't worry about calling in listeners. We've already put a nail in the coffin for this.
Settle the debate. Call in. We're going to The Thing next, which is 100% a horror.
That is 100%.
Or are you going to argue that that's like a period drama?
No, because I have credibility, and that is a horror movie.
Okay, fine. So next week we are back with a horror movie, which is The Thing. A huge thank you to Dave again. I'm gutted he had to nip off early, but this recording's run over by a lot longer than we expected.
Yeah, it did indeed.
It ran on almost as long as the montage of trap building.
I feel like at least 20% of that is you using the word chopper excessively.
Stop doing it. No more choppers, oh, for fuck's sake. A huge thank you to Dave. Dave, you are a star. Dave, you are the inspiration how the show got to where it is. You will always be the voice of our intro forever. And we'll get you on again soon when we do another wild movie. Maybe we can do Last Action Hero, because that'll please Marc.
I won't be here for that. I'm refusing now. If it's not horror and not justifiably horror, I'm not coming on anymore.
I feel a bit sad. Now taking applications for co-hosts at yourunpodcast.com. Just let me know.
We're a horror movie podcast. Stop it.
Thank you so much for listening. Marc, thank you so much for putting up with me for an entire year. The quizzes, the trauma, the pain, the recording with me every Friday. I genuinely appreciate it. You, since you've come on, the show's gone leaps and bounds, and I can only thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, man. It's a pleasure. I love being here every Friday, and as I've always said to you, man, it's all about just hanging out with you on a Friday, having a couple of beers, talking shit, and where it goes from there, it goes from there. It's not really why we do it. At least in my case, it's not really why I do it. Do you know what I mean? I just like having somebody who has a mutual love and admiration for films, especially horror films. I feel like you're testing the water this evening.
Well, the crazy thing is, when I started the show, this was a way for me to give my opinions on horror out to the world. And now I still do that. But if I'm honest, now it's just to chat shit about horror with you. And if there was 10 people listening or 1 million people listening, that wouldn't change. I'm here to have a chat with you and a catch up and a beer and a joke and a laugh. And as much as I love our listeners, I don't mind how many of you are listening. I love you for listening, but if there was less of you, I wouldn't care. And if there was more of you, I wouldn't care, because I do this because I enjoy it and because Marc enjoys it. We do it because we like it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Get to the end of the week, we have a couple of beers, we talk about something we love, and 9 times out of 10, we have a little bicker and bitch in between.
We do. Thank you so much for listening. I know I just said I don't care how many of you listen, but I appreciate everyone who does listen. catch us next week for what are we doing next week? The Thing.
The Thing.
And Friday for horror movie news, where we've got lots of horror movie news. And yeah, we'll catch you all soon.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You're so short with your sign-offs. Yeah, cheers, bye. Fuck you.
I know, but we get to the end and I need to close it off somewhere. There needs to be a definitive end at some point.
I miss the movie quotes. The movie quotes are great. Just no one played. Everyone
played my game.
Everyone plays your anagram. Anyway, goodbye. See you all later.
Before I forget, you want to die tonight?
The cheaper, nastier, the better for me.
Would you have stayed after this?
Sorry, man. I was completely off guard there.
He's in his coffin. He's the undead.
This was the best bit of the film.
This is not the last time someone's going to steal your man.
Yeah, Marc's not a nice guy.
You didn't notice this scene. It looks like he's got an extra leg.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I've literally got nothing here. Surely that'd be even worse. The more listeners we have, the worse that's going to be.
Yeah, but I will just get a new phone.
Oh, I tell a lie, actually. Yeah, because we used to have teletext.
Art the Clown makes Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees look like pussies.
I can only assume that this was due to budgetary reasons and they couldn't afford enough extras.
Are you going to have Busta Rhymes in your list of characters?
Mate, I can't believe you don't know Idle Hands.
I'm going to ram my foot down his fucking throat. It was awesome.
It fucking wasn't awesome.